How to create a design like this in Affinity Photo. It all starts with a star. Go to the Tools panel and select the Star tool. And then with that, just drag and create a star. Now I'm just going to click up here, and instead of using these dashes, I'm just going to go for a solid line. And I'm going to go with black as my initial. So stroke, set it to black. And you can modify, of course, the star later. It's still live until you convert it to a curve. So with this, I can now add additional stars on top of it. But to do that, I'm just going to increase this. Instead of 11 point, I'm going to go for, say, 32 as my start point. Go up here to the Move tool and simply just drag and hold down the Alt or Option key. And now you've got another copy. So let's just show you in layers. You can see you've got 2 stars. And in this star, I'm going to reduce this down. Click here, and instead of that, I'm going to go, say, for 20. You could, of course, go for any value, 25, 24, and you could have 5, 10 of these. I'm not going to go for 3 or 4. So with that, set that, and also now click here and stroke, and I can set it to another colour. And you can see then I've got a slightly different star than before. And I can do exactly the same. So with this selected, again, Move tool, hold down the Alt or Option key and drag, just duplicate that. So I've got now 3. Just go over here, and instead I'm just going to go with, say, orange or any other colour, of course. And I'm just going to go here for 20 points. I'm just going to put it down to about 5 or 6, maybe 8. So you've got this sort of design. Now at the moment, of course, it's not particularly well aligned, so I'm just going to drag over all of them. So they're all selected, and I just quickly align them. And now with this, I can actually modify this. Of course, like I say, I could, of course, use multiple other points. But to do that, I need to go over here again. So Star tool, because as soon as you select multiple entries, unfortunately with the Move tool, you can't access all these settings along here. And I'm just going to change this. But also what you can do, you've got these other settings. You've got inner radius. So inner radius, you can make it, just drag that down. And you get an effect like that. Very nice sort of like spokes coming out. And again, you can increase this, maybe 9, 10, 11, 12, and end up with that. Now also what you can of course do if you want, you can always at any point just go here, click on effects. So you can always add, if you want, some drop shadows. So you can just add a bit of a drop shadow there, perfectly reasonable as well. So you can see you get a nice effect like that, and close. And they're all the same. All those drop shadows are exactly identical for all of the selected items. Just going to undo that. But I just want to point out you can add effects if you want. Now click there again and remove the outer shadow. But what I can now do to make it even more interesting is just go up here. Just click 30, hit 2, or obviously any of them, and just go here and set this. And as soon as you do that, you get a result like this. They all end up, and of course you can select them individually and select different dashes for each of them. But I'm going to use exactly the same for all of them. Now don't change this. If you just suddenly change that, they all then, of course, if I just go like that, then you get that. Don't want to do that. So just undo. What you want to do is you want to go down here and change this. So 0.3. Simply just go here to the dash styles, and you can then tweak these settings numerous ways. So you can decide, you know what, I want something like that, or maybe that, or that, and so on. You can change the phase. So you can just click there, and you can maybe go for 1.2, and so on. So a variety of different designs can be created very quickly using the star. And also, of course, you don't have to continue with this. You can always still go over here and you turn around and say, well, I don't want that. I can go for 13 or whatever. Now you can see it does actually create some variation because, of course, you've got one that's got 32, one that's got 20. So it's not all going to be identical. It does create some interesting designs, though, by using that approach. Just click there. And again, you can always click that. And actually, that's a much nicer one. Have it auto balance dash pattern, I should say, and then just do there. And once you've got that, that's the end result. Now, of course, unfortunately, you can't expand the strokes in this, which is not particularly great. But if you've got Affinity Designer, which is, of course, very useful, if you have got Affinity Designer, you can always go to File, and you can go down here to Edit in Designer. And in Designer, you can then, of course, expand it. I don't know why that feature is not available in Affinity Photo. It's just one of those odd features that seems to be missing. But another way around this, of course, if you want, you can always rasterize the entire design, turn it into a pixel layer. But anyway, while this is quickly loading up, so in Designer, you've got exactly the same. You can see over here, you've got the layers. You've got some other options, of course. You can always go for things like contours if you want to bring that into it as well. Really useful. But also what you can do, with them all there selected, you can always go to Layer, and you can go down here to Expand Stroke. So Expand Stroke, and then you can see now you've got this design like this. You've got a star there. Now, you might not want those, so you can always just delete that. So you can see delete that star, and delete that star. And you've still got your design there. And of course, all these curves, you can then manipulate them further. You can always decide, you know what, just want to tweak these endpoints. Always go here to the node tool if you want to modify. You can see all the nodes there. But of course, once you've got this, again, you can go back to Photo. So File, Edit in Photo. You're in Photo again, and you've got them all as curves. Now, you might not want to do that. You might not want to convert it at all. If you want to convert it just to a pixel layer, simply select all of them, right-click, go down to Group. So they're all grouped. You need to group them because the next level, Layer and Rasterize. If you did it otherwise, you'd end up with just pixel layer, pixel layer, pixel layer. You can, of course, then merge them all later as well. It's another way. And then you've got Rasterize. So you've got this lovely pixel layer, which you can then manipulate with various filters. And of course, you can build up more complex designs. Maybe decide, you know what, you want star design multiple times. So hold down the Alt Option key, exactly same as before, to duplicate the design. And you can then build up complex design like that. Another option, of course, if you're using 2.3, if you're not using 2.3, it's going to be a bit tricky. But in 2.3, Move tool, selected, and press Return or Enter on the keyboard. And with that, you've got these options. And then you can go for here, horizontal. Go for duplicate. So make certain you turn the duplicate on, number of copies, and you can see then you get a nice sort of three-dimensional shadow effect. Just tweak the horizontal, of course, slightly to create a nice 3D bit of depth there. Also, put that back to 0, and then you can go for, say, scale. So you can reduce it down to create, again, some sort of design like that, where it's repeated multiple times. And you can, of course, change that value, make it zoom off into that design like that. Now, of course, you can't, at this point, it's obviously now a pixel layer, you can't, unfortunately, tweak and change all the settings, which is a pity. But you could, of course, do exactly the same with this Move duplicate if you hadn't converted it to a pixel layer. That would be reasonable as well. But also what you do, you've got rotation, so you can see you can create a nice rotation design and just change it like -4 or something. It goes the other way if you want. So you go, say, 4 or 5. And you can see a lovely design like that and click OK. And you can see what happens, generates multiple layers, pixel layers. Now you can also select all of those, again, right click and go down to Group. With that, again, Layer, and you can go for, obviously not rasterize because they're already rasterized, but however, you could of course use merge. That would have been just as good, merge visible. However, that just does the same thing anyway, turns it into a pixel layer, and there's your end result. And of course, I'll just quickly drag this, expand this, so you can see slightly better the end result, using all these various settings from stroke, converting it, and also turning it into multiple layers. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Always great to hear from you. Bye.